I'm about to show you how I just scored this little Civic for 550 bucks with cold AC and good tires and a really clean interior. It's gonna be good. I'm not hating this car at all. I keep expecting something to just go crazy, some gauge to all of a sudden peg, but nothing yet. I filled it up. It was on a quarter of a tank. I had forgotten how economical these little cars were. Normally, the Hummer, I put 75 bucks in it. It shuts off automatically, and it's not anywhere near full yet. But this little Civic, it was on a quarter of a tank, and I put another 6.5 gallons in it. It's totally full. My last Civic got 38 miles per gallon consistently. It's kind of wild. It's obviously got loud exhaust, and the idle airs, it's actually been doing fine. I'm sure it'll act a little strange somewhere along the way, but so far so good. My little incredibly cheap beater is making the trip home. No flames, no smoke. What about that exhaust, Tyler? I'm gonna get on it here so you guys can hear true power. I don't even know if VTEC kicked in or not, but felt like it did. I had to be putting down probably 62, 64 horsepower to the tire. But I tell you what, man, 141,000 miles, everything seems to be good. The tires are good, the brakes are good. Once I get home, you're not gonna believe the condition of this dash. He said that it sat in the garage most of its life, and that's really obvious. The body has its little dings and little bitty rust spots, but man, all in all, I kick butt on this one. Now, some of you guys are going to say, wow, it's got bad window tint. It has blah, blah. The bumper doesn't even line up. Look where the paint's coming off. There's a wasp living on the Civic symbol. I don't know what that's all about. But when it comes right down to it, it's a Civic with 141,000 miles on it that I just drove home a half hour straight with zero issues. The tires are good. The AC works. Wow. I didn't think this kind of thing happened in 2021, but I'm going to tell you how I did it. First step, if you're not in a position to give the full asking price, you shouldn't be contacting the guy. The quickest way to end all communication and have the person who's selling it totally dislike you in an instant is we've seen those people. You're asking $2,000 for a car, $10,000, whatever it is. They send you a number that is drastically lower than what you're asking. Let's say the car is $1,000. They send you 3 digits. They can't be bothered to put a dollar sign. They can't be bothered to put a question mark. If the car's $1,000, they send you 250. You are officially out of the running, man. You're not even going to get a response. I don't care what you say or do after that. You are no longer a factor. The first thing to do when you see the car is know what was in the ad. Don't ask questions that were answered in the ad. Go through it. If you have to, read it a couple of times. Look at all of the pictures, zoom in on them, get a good idea of what the car is and is not. When you're ready to text the person, say, are you in a position to show me this car now? Can I come see the car now? Or however you would word that. Make it so you can come see the car as soon as possible. And be prepared. You've not even seen this car yet. So be prepared to have the full amount the person is asking for that car. Have that much on you, or at least access to it very quickly. I know sometimes you don't want to show up somewhere you don't know the guy with a pocket full of cash, but you want to have access to it if you need it. When you show up, before you make any offers on the car, make sure you drive it. Let him drive first or her drive. And as you're on that passenger side, pay attention to what's going on and start hitting some buttons, making sure everything works. And then after you've been out driving for a while and you've been paying attention to how the shifting is occurring and looking at the dash at trouble lights and things, ask if it's cool for you to drive it the rest of the way back to where you started. When you drive it, don't abuse the car. It's okay to be a little aggressive on the gas, but if it's a 35 zone, don't go 55, that kind of thing. Make sure that you even ask them in advance, say, do you mind if I just smack down on the gas for a moment and look in the back of the car and see if there's any smoke coming back there? They'll almost certainly let you do it. Just don't drive like an idiot. But when you come back and you've done your walk around the car and everything, if it's something you really want to try to get within a certain percentage of their asking price. You can start by saying, what's the least you'll take on this cash now? And you have people who say, cash, $100 bills. Well, it's not like they're going to take a check. It's not like that. You know what I mean? So don't stress the whole cash thing. Just basically let them know that you're in a position to make it so the deal can happen right now. It doesn't have to happen the next business day. You can just hand over some cash. They give you the title, you're gone. They will give you a dollar amount that is either firm, that's not up to changing, or they will give you a lower dollar amount. Now, when they give you that lower dollar amount, don't take that as a place to start negotiating. If it was $1,000 and they said, we'll go $750, they just came down $250 off that. So don't come in and say, I can go $300. If you're not willing to make an offer that's within a certain percentage of their lowest dollar amount, it's best to just keep your mouth shut. We're not trying to offend this person. We're trying to, at the end of the day, give them enough money where they felt good about selling the car, and you gave little enough money where you felt good about buying the car. So let's say they say the absolute bottom dollar is $750. Going by, this is just personally me, I'd probably come in, if I really wanted it, I would say I can go $6 on the car. Now, if you notice, I didn't come up with that dollar amount very quickly. I thought to myself, okay, it's close. It's not too far off. At that point in time, they could say, nope, leave my property or I will shoot you. Or they can say, no, I can't go that low. What they have said when they say, I can't go that low is, we can still do this. So the thing to do is, in good faith, come a little closer. Say, I could do $650. And they're going to come down and say, man, bottom dollar is going to be $700. Man, I've come down from $1,000, $300. And then that's when you say, well, I tell you what, you and I are only $100 apart here. So why don't I throw in another 50? Your bottom dollar and my top dollar, I'll come toward you and I'll take up the distance, and we're now at $650. So can we get that done? And he'll either do it or he won't do it. A lot of that will be based on how you treated that seller and how you talked about their car when you were walking around it, instead of kicking the tires and saying, oh, that looks like crap. Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh, look. He knows what the car is, and it's general psychology for the seller to not have a really high opinion of the car if it's kind of a beater. He knows all the things that are wrong with it, and he's magnified those things in his brain. You, however, tend to see the good things when you're buying it. If you go look at a car on a car lot, you see how shiny the paint is, and meanwhile, the previous owner got rid of it because it was 4 years old, and that's practically used up for him. Anyway, that's the first step in the negotiating. When you finally reach that dollar amount, make sure, like I said, that you are in a position to get that car right then. No drama. Also, make sure that your test of the car, the road test, was as complete as you could possibly make it. And when you're a gearhead such as myself, part of what can close the deal too is let that guy know that, look, you know this is a beater, and there's a reason why this car is a few $100. There's a reason. You can't expect that car to be in the same league as a $10,000 car. You can't expect new tires if there's a squeak when you hit the brake pedal. This car is as is. If it catches on fire down the road, I don't call the guy. I call the fire department, but I don't call the seller. I try to make sure that I say, you know what, if you sell it to me for this price, which is a little lower than what you wanted, at least you know that I will not be calling you back. I'm a big boy. I'm an adult, grown man. And if something happens to this, I will handle it. I'm not going to talk bad about you. I'm not going to leave you bad feedback. You worked with me. Being a gearhead, I looked at the whole thing. I checked it out. I decided I'm going to take a chance on it. Yeah, the transaction really did go that smoothly on that Civic. And it was because when I first saw the ad, I had already been looking at Civics, and I probably had 10 others to compare it to. I realized that the asking price was far below anybody else was asking. I made sure of what was in the ad, what it said very specifically. It said it ran well, it had cold AC, it had a couple little issues that were mentioned, but nothing crazy. So I immediately got in touch with the guy, set up an appointment to go look at the car instead of asking him 100 questions, because it's a beater. It's not like I'm buying a $50,000 car. I showed up, he showed up, we took it for a drive. I made an informed guess on if the car was going to be a good one, but it's a hypothesis, which is an educated guess. So I went ahead and got the thing, drove it back home. He gave me a killer deal on it. I made a friend and got a great deal on a car. All the best to you in the future when you're going and looking at beaters or really nice expensive cars. All the cars in between too. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe if you like this video, and feel free to ask me some questions down below if there's something I may not have addressed in this video. Thank you for watching, guys.